What up, what's happening? My name is Falz, aka Falz, the bad guy. Big shout out to Afrobeats Intelligence.
Afrobeats Intelligence Podcast.
Afrobeats Intelligence, democratizing African music.
So it's good to see you. It's good to see you. This is a nice apartment.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
How long have you lived here?
Not too long actually. Probably like end of 2020, so barely over a year-ish, kind of, yeah.
I once spoke to a friend who was also an artist who said he changes apartments depending on the level that his career is at.
Well, I mean, I guess that would kind of apply to every man.
Okay.
You know, depending on where you are in life, your wherever you're living will definitely reflect that. So it's probably not only artists that have that.
And for you, is that true for you in any way?
I mean, I definitely had to, change. Yeah, I would say yeah, to an extent. I had to change where I was living before, because where I was living before was basically shared accommodation. A couple of my guys, all this bachelor party type level now. Just you and a couple G's.
Then what made you?
Where you have all the parties, where you have all that, but
Yeah.
I guess certain level of growth.
Yeah.
Certain level of maturity. Yeah, to use that word loosely. Just the principal thing, to be honest with you, just wanting my own space, man. My space is very important to me.
But you had your space with your other people, didn't you?
My brother, not enough, not sufficiently. My space was very intruded upon. Not by anyone's intentional doing, but it just so happened like that. If you don't live alone, there's only a certain level of privacy you can have, which is basically your room.
Sure.
The rest of it is not your space, really, primarily. So that was the main thing, just needing my own space. My space is very important to me when I'm existing in this life.
Yeah.
Very, very important. There are times when I don't even want to see a soul. I just want to be by myself in my solitude, in my own controlled environment.
But making music requires a lot of solitude, does it? For you?
For me, yeah.
And in that your alone time, what are you doing without anybody, just by yourself?
Mostly thinking.
Okay.
Mostly thinking, just thinking, random thinking. They're supposed to give me an award for overthinking. Just they think and think. Also writing, writing lyrics. It's usually in the middle of all these deep thinking sessions that ideas for lyrics come, and I just pen them down.
So has there been any of these times when you've also had ideas while with a lot of people?
Yeah, of course, very possible, especially when it's a studio vibe and there's a couple different artists together, everyone is just bouncing ideas. Of course, yeah, definitely. Sometimes I'm just with my guys, but just being silly.
Yeah. Just having fun.
I'm just having fun, and a lot of these things come, and these things came also largely in that old space I was existing, because I just have my guys around, and we'll just be messing around, and we'll say things that end up becoming culture shaping phrases or slangs or the word on SARS.
Yeah.
There's something light.
For real?
The yellow base, all these.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. All these culture shaping ideas, a lot of them were just me just having
Fun with your people.
with my guys, and the idea just came.
Is there a difference between like that idea that comes from those sort of situations and the ones that come from you just being by yourself in your room? Or in your space alone?
The difference, I would say, largely, probably the ones that come when I'm alone are usually maybe a tad deeper.
Okay.
There's probably more reflective lyrics, probably more in-depth lyrics that they're probably the more storytelling lyrics.
Because you're soul searching.
I'm still searching, and at the end of the day, also even after I get the vibe, the joint vibe, I catch that joint vibe with a couple guys or whatever.
Yeah.
And even if we say, the vibe now is something light, and I still want to write that story of it, that verse I probably will still do in solitude. I work best when I'm on my own, basically.
Oh,
Yeah. So, when it comes to actually telling the story
yeah.
on a record, for example,
Yeah.
I want to be by myself when I'm thinking about that story and arranging that story, and putting the words together.
Much of your life, much of your career has been storytelling.
Yeah.
I look at you and I don't see an artist. I see someone who trades in stories.
Yeah.
Like that's how I say it. Like you trade stories.
Yeah.
You just find various mediums to do that.
Yeah. This is true.
Which is true. Look at your work, your music, you're telling stories. One of the reasons why we fell in love with you at the start
Yeah.
was because you tell stories. One of the reasons why we're still with you and why we're following everything that you make in the studio is because you continue to move us along with stories. And when you go into Nollywood, you do the same thing. In your comedy, you do the same thing. And there are times when you have found ways to weave stories across different mediums through each other, and it's just like this Falz universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever looked at it like this?
Yeah. I've kind of always looked at it like this. I've always looked at myself as a storyteller.
Yeah.
I've always been that kind of artist, and I will never stop being that kind of artist. That is my, a very vital part of my own angle to artistry.
Yeah.
It's a very important aspect. Just painting pictures for you to see so vividly. Yeah, man.
What informs these pictures?
Mostly inspired by events, people that I come across,
Yeah.
things that happen, my immediate environment, life experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just I mostly catch a vibe from my immediate surroundings.
So, in a manner of speaking, someone has to have lived to be able to tell certain stories.
Not necessarily. Someone has to have a combination of living and being a great sponge.
Oh,
In that you soak up what's popping around you. You soak up stories. You soak up even stories that you consume.
sure.
From stories you consume, you could be inspired. You can combine that with. You just have to be a good curator as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's also a skill that I've picked up on this journey of artistry. I've become a beautiful curator.
So, but sometimes before we go into the curator part, because I've never looked at the curator angle of it. I've only seen I can connect with being a sponge.
Yeah.
I can connect with soaking up everything,
Yeah.
having your receptors open every time to collect things from your environment, from your people, and With these stories, sometimes, being someone who is a sponge, you absorb and absorb and absorb and absorb from your environment. What does that do to you as a person? Do you think it makes you wiser? Do you think it gives you more empathy? What does that do to you? How does that shape who you are as a
Definitely
person?
makes you wiser. I would say, yeah. It adds to you.
Okay.
There's an expression that forever follow me, and that is one of lifelong learning.
Yeah.
Throughout life, for as long as you're alive, you are learning.
True.
Learning never ever stops, my brother. So if I'm hanging out with you and you say something and it hits me in a certain way, I would have to stop for a minute to say, "Oh, mom, that is true."
Yeah.
I will take that and hold it and keep it somewhere. I've learned something from you.
Yeah.
So it's continuous. If somebody else does another thing, I keep that. I have to be so open to receiving and not being overly stuck in my ways and like, oh, I can't change this. No, this is not how this. No, I have to be open enough to say that maybe this thing I've been seeing this way is not actually this way. Or maybe this is actually the way. Oh, what if it's like this? Or what if it's like this? Just having that open canvas, if you like, to be able to paint any picture.
And are there stories that you've consumed, stories that you've assimilated, that have moved you in a way that has been very pivotal to your existence?
Sorry, ask that again.
Has there been stories that you've consumed, or stories that you've stumbled on, or things that you've observed, and they have moved you? They have been so pivotal in your life, in your career, and the way you've conducted your business, or even as a person.
Yeah. I think on a daily basis.
Okay.
I think one major one is just the story of Nigeria, bro.
Yeah, you bleed for this country.
The story of Nigeria, bro, just existing here. And maybe because I'm an artist that completely exists where he is.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I mean by that. My art cannot be removed from the world that I live in.
From the world that it's created within.
Exactly. Yeah. Or from the world that the creator, exists in.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean?
I get you.
Yeah. So even if I'm creating in London, because I'm resident in Nigeria, a certain emotion covers me. Could be one of frustration, could be one of anger,
Yeah.
could be one of what the fuck is going on here, bro? So those emotions will obviously translate into what I'm writing. It's inevitable. Yeah, it's inevitable.
I'd come back to Nigeria and how you see the country and why you constantly continue to fight and bleed for the country and do like something that you don't even need to do.
Yeah, of course.
But you do it.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. But I want to talk about curation a bit.
Mm.
So you're bombarded with all of these stories. I'm trying to get into like your head as a creator.
Okay.
So you're bombarded with all these stories. You're assimilating them every day. How do you now know which stories would work? Which stories you would have to tell?
Okay, so I guess that is then where your skill or gift as a curator then comes in. For example, I'll give you a good example. I was watching Ozark.
Yeah, I love that show.
So beautiful.
I love Wendy. I'm a Wendy fan.
Bro, Ozark. Such an amazing series, bro. Such an amazing, so thrilling, so gripping.
Yes, it is.
Everything. I was watching it in the thick of lockdown.
Do you binge watch it?
Yes, now
when it comes
I've been watched it. So I had to give them. It was only the last part that they just released.
Yeah.
That was the only one I watched on its own. The rest of it I had binge watched at once.
Oh,
yeah. So in the heart of lockdown,
yeah,
I was watching this, and there was one scene in Ozark where Marty and Wendy were in therapy.
Yeah.
With that elderly woman.
Yeah.
The elderly therapist.
Yes. The one they were bribing.
That eventually met her was hello.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, that scene where they were interacting with the therapist, there was something so gripping in that scene. Something that held me so spellbound and so entertained. I was like, oh my God, this is such a profound scene.
Yeah.
And I promise you that scene on its own, just that scene, inspired the idea for an entire show.
Whoa.
Yeah, bro. Therapy.
From that,
the show Therapy that I did with Toke Makinwa, Bovi. So that is why I say that your skill as a curator has to come into play. Me watching that, and so many people watch that.
Yeah.
But me watching that scene, it hit me in a different way.
Sure.
It hit me like, this is way beyond a scene. This is an entire experience. So much can be revealed in this thing.
Yeah.
So I then imagined, so that's why you have to constantly throw yourself into situations and imagine these situations.
Yeah.
Imagine that scenario, but in this context.
Yeah.
In this context with our own story, and something a lot more comedic.
Yeah.
And not just them, it was very serious. Like, it was deep, it was serious. But here, I just imagine it a lot more comedic, and imagine a chaotic therapist again. I was like, oh man, this is genius. This will just be brilliant. And then we went ahead to execute the show, and it turned out to be excellent.
Yes, yes, it was beautiful. I think it's one of it was one of your standout things that you've ever done.
Yeah.
As a creator.
Yeah. And that has been birthed, even that has now birthed another bigger idea, because now we're gonna spin it off. We're gonna spin it off and create a bigger show, Now we want to delve into their family, their personal family life, their close friends,
So you want to build the characters and expand
a bigger show about their lives. That's what we're working on right now, like this.
Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. That's beautiful. Just some form.
Yeah, just it's something that
tiny part of,
and that's why I'm a creator a big part of me being a creator is me being a consumer.
Okay.
Yeah.
People never want to talk about that. That you
Yeah.
need to have, for you to create, you need raw materials.
Yes, now.
And those raw materials come from consumption of other people's creativity.
Exactly. Oh, my brother, almost absolutely nothing is new under the sun.
Yeah.
You know, so making variations, adaptations, you know, is one thing you have to be very openly, very open to. Yeah, man. So that's a big part of my art.
And so when you consume these things and you're curating and creating alongside each other, how do you now know what goes to music, what goes to Nollywood, what goes to Instagram, what goes to TikTok, what goes to... How do you run this mill?
You have to just figure it out by yourself, kind of. So, for example, even this one I just gave, first thing that comes to me, first things first, whatever I'm doing has to be sufficiently unique and sufficiently different from where I've originally been inspired.
Yeah.
You know, and have a life, so much so that it has a life of its own.
It has its own essence.
Its own essence, its own entity. You know, that's number one thing. The second thing is then, okay, what is this thing? What is the best form that it will thrive in? That one, when I thought about it, I was like, oh man, this is definitely going to be a series. It has to be recurrent.
Yeah.
You're going to talk about so many issues.
Sure.
Okay, but then where does this series go? How come? Okay, it's a pretty much straightforward series because everything happens in one place. Okay, how about I make it a web series? So, you know, it seems like is not too elaborate in the sense that we're, you know, doing different setups. It's just one setup.
Yeah.
You know, everything happens here, different topics, one crazy couple and a crazy therapist. You know.
And you did the casting yourself?
Yeah, well, yeah, myself and my team, you know, we just said, I shared the idea with my team. I was like, this is what we want to do. They're like, oh, this is mad. Yeah, it took him work for this. Yeah. Both work as the therapist. Oh, yeah, Josh work as a pastor. And that is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And that's just how we throw ideas around, man.
Okay. And then, so knowing how important consumption is in all the things that you create, knowing how the things that you put into your head and it inspire your work, and in a manner, if you look at it, if you expand it more, it's like the things you consume drive your career, drives your work, which drives your career, and to a certain degree drives your existence.
Mm-hmm.
So at the heart of everything is what you allow get into you.
Yeah. I think that is pretty much it. What you allow. Yes. So it's along the lines of what I was saying earlier on, lifelong learning.
Yeah.
Being readily available to learn at every point in your life. 2, being a sponge. Being ready to assimilate something beautiful when you see. And the third is being a beautiful curator. Take all these things that you've learned and assimilated, find a way to create something sufficiently distinct that it has its own essence.
And something that a few people, so these are different steps. You consume, your receptors assimilate, you pass them through your filter, and by the time you bring them out again, of course it has elements of where you got them from, but it's a different entity on its own now.
Of course.
And now you move to execution. So that movement between your brain, like when you consume and when you move to execution, a lot of people experience some form of inertia, some resistance towards bringing this idea to life. Does that ever happen to you?
Yes, now. Yes.
In what way?
At times you have doubts, you know, would this thing be good in this light? Or would it not be good? Should I bone it? You know, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
When I consumed Childish Gambino's This Is America.
Yeah. That was another beautiful one.
I initially didn't think anything.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I thought this is a strong body of work, you know. But what I mean by I hadn't started doing anything yet.
You hadn't personalized it.
Until I spoke to a friend of mine and he was like, have you ever thought about this jam and video, but from a Nigerian perspective? And even he probably had just mentioned it in passing, like he probably didn't realize what he had done.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I was like, hold up, just Whoa, do you know how profound that would be?
Yeah.
And that same night, my brother, I went to the studio and, I already had some lyrics I was writing, in that direction. I just adapted them for that purpose, to that beat.
Well, you had lyrics that spoke to that sort of
I
situation.
spoke to that, yeah, exactly. Then I now adapted them to that beat, to that creation, and recorded that. As soon as I finished recording it, I sent it to my manager, and I was like, yo, guy, I want to shoot a video that somehow spoofs the original, but in this context. He was like, I don't think the video is necessary. Just drop the audio. I said, listen to me. This product is not complete without that video. He was like, if you can go ahead, Chan, if you try and run it, if you think so.
But the visuals contain all the magic.
My brother, I said till today, I still look at him and I said, Shebi, I told you. But, in that moment of that taking this and translating to this, he had doubts. That might not be necessary, but I was so vivid in what I was seeing that I said, no, I have to follow through with everything. So you have to be able to beat those doubts and be certain that, you're making the right decision, following through. Yeah, and that one turned out to be, of course, there are times where you could be wrong too.
Yeah.
No one is perfect. No one has the full blueprint. But you have to really genuinely believe in your artistry.
That's beautiful. And you're also an industry man. And I don't say an industry man from a place where but I speak from this perspective. You work with a lot of people at every point in time. A lot of your projects are collaborative. So you move from a place like the music industry where everything revolves around you to Nollywood, where you're a part of a machine. And yeah, but that's it. In Nollywood, you might be a star, but you have to be a part of a machine. You can't make a movie by yourself, but you can make an album by yourself.
Yep.
So in music, everything revolves around the artist. In Nollywood, everything revolves around the product. Every other person is a cog to fit in. And in comedy, again, it revolves around you, except when you do some productions that's with other people and then it moves. And you fit into these boxes well. You move through these lines very smoothly and sweetly. How do you do it? How do you have to navigate that?
You have to be flexible.
Okay.
You have to be, if you want to be the kind of artist that I am, just this multi-dimensional, multifaceted artist. A lot of musical artists, because of what you said, everything revolves around you. So a lot of musical artists end up being self-centered, self-centered in their core. And that affects pretty much anything that they do. So they would find it difficult to thrive in all these other scenarios because they're used to being the center of everything.
Yeah.
However, I'm very okay with taking myself out of that and looking at the bigger picture. Okay, this is the big product that everyone is trying to achieve. And if I exceptionally destroy my part, I am still a star inside this big product.
Yeah.
But then the teamwork, everybody destroying their parts, do you get what I'm saying, makes the entire product even more exceptional. I'm a huge believer in collaborations. Bring your talent, I bring my talent. What we create together is magic. It's always going to be magic because it's like putting different spices in a pot.
Yeah.
What you're going to taste at the end of the day will be so mad versus when you put only rice.
True.
Yeah.
True. Okay. I want us to talk about a bunch of things. I want us to flesh out Nollywood and your involvement in it. I also want to talk about music and your involvement in it. I also want to talk about comedy as its own conversation in itself. Because I love comedy. I consume a lot of comedy. I think it's one of the oldest skills that should never die out.
Can never die.
But society changes all the time. And we can see this happen even in the US and locally too. A few people have run for how in the past comedy used to be like people just talking shit. Like people just see the world, imagine it in the most interesting way. If they want to pass a message, they pass a message in the most hilarious way. And now with sensibilities changing and, there's something called cancel culture and people are less open to hearing things that they don't want to hear. That changes things.
Yeah. Yeah, like what happened to Will Smith as well, I mean.
Yes,
I feel you.
that's also a thing. Like you do something also, people are more careful now. You do something also, people are like, okay, how? And you know, one misstep is just enough to invalidate every other thing that you've ever done.
It's messed up for the artists. It's really messed up for the artists because it limits creativity. If there's anything that is bad in life, is that thing that limits creativity. A thing that doesn't allow you operate with a huge spectrum, with an open canvas.
Yeah.
So you can only paint on this side.
Yeah.
It then becomes like I'm being restricted. I can't really operate to the fullest of my capabilities. But you also have to understand where it's coming from. It's it's very understandable. Like you said earlier on, it's people feeling like, oh, this does offend me. Oh, this does offend me. And man, it's tough, man. So the world is just the world is moving, and what can we do?
Okay. So for music,
Yeah.
music first. For music, you're a rapper
Yeah.
at heart.
Primarily. One thing I love the most about my career and the kind of artist that I've been able to establish myself as is that it's almost difficult to say this is what this guy is.
Sure.
Because this guy is this, and this, and this, and this. Yeah.
The first time we ever consumed you, when we went to your first project, it was rap.
Mm-hmm.
When you were in the UK,
Yeah.
and you were looking in, it was rap you used as your entry into the market. And then the more we moved forward, it's almost as if you showed so much adaptability within the space while not losing your original essence, your wordplay, your storytelling, all of that. But you found a way to speak the language of the people, always. Let's talk about your adaptability.
Yeah. It's pretty much what we have been talking about leading up to now, just being able to curate, being able to see that, okay, this is sweet. This is what these people love to listen to.
Yeah.
This is what I want to say. This is how to merge them both in the best way possible. And that was pretty much it. Like you said, predominantly it was rap, rap music.
What's Up Guy was...
Yeah, What's Up Guy was even 2014.
2014, yeah.
My first mixtape was in 2009.
Yeah.
While I was still in uni, finished uni 2010, 11, 12, 13, I was still putting out stuff. So stringing together my first album in 2014, What's Up Guy, it coincided with me bringing out this comedic character, especially online. And for me, I stumbled on it,
How? Because at that point, rappers are not supposed to be comedians.
Yeah.
So in a way, you broke that mold.
Yeah.
You pushed past that ceiling.
Yeah.
You made people see that it was possible for you to live a dual existence at that point.
Yeah. For me, making music from the very beginning, and maybe also thanks to inspiration from greats like Kanye West, for example.
Yeah.
At the time that Kanye was popping, rappers were not meant to be dressing in the way that he was dressing.
True.
Kanye came through with Ralph Lauren polo shirts, skinny jeans. Like Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah.
Lupe Fiasco was on a skateboard.
Yeah.
Like, what is this guy doing? Are you a rapper? But these guys were creating beautiful art.
Yeah.
Pharrell was a different type as well.
Yeah.
So taking inspirations from these sort of guys, I guess that sort of helped as well. Because creating music from the very beginning, I always knew I wasn't going to be a cliche type of rapper.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the good old, hip hop, yeah, man, what up? I'm always going to come through with my own spin on the art.
Yeah.
So for me, I was always very open to that. The point in time where that shift came was, like I said, I stumbled on it, and it was like I was just messing around. I think I was on holiday with family at the time.
Yeah.
And I'd done a funny video, talking in that funny accent. on a video that was recorded. I can't never forget. Recorded on an iPad. This was iPad era, my brother.
Yeah.
Recorded on an iPad. This was the era where Instagram had 15-second videos.
Yeah.
You know, that was the limit. You have to squeeze all your creativity in there. But at this time, I wasn't even intending, I was just messing around. And I did a video and I posted up. And I saw like the response to it. I was like, what's going on here?
And just such a random video.
Random video. I think I was just saying that, I'm not coming back to Africa. That this weather in Europe is good for me. Something stupid. And bro, when I saw that, that's when I knew that this is a character that I had been messing around, probably with siblings, just
privately.
Yeah. And I hadn't really brought this character out. Okay. They definitely want to see a lot more of this guy.
Yeah.
So then after that, it was orchestrated. It was like, okay, now I'm going to
put more thought into this.
And every single skit following that was orchestrated plan. I think the very first one that went stupid viral was the one where I was like, I'm a young man from Yoruba here out of Nigeria.
yes, I remember.
Especially for a young lady. That one, people believed that, okay, this guy is actually lost and is looking for a bit. People, like, that's how convincing the character was.
Yeah.
And people's moms, people's aunties, uncles were sending this thing around on WhatsApp. That's how stupid viral it was. And from then onwards, that's when I saw that, okay, this thing was beyond me and I had to keep it going. And I literally watched my following grow in a senseless manner.
And when this was happening and you were getting this love, it was this. Were you thinking about your music at this point?
Of course not. So that's where I was going. I watched my following grow in a senseless manner, ridiculous. It then grew to a certain level. And then now at this level, I'm known. Like, people actually know who this guy is.
Yeah.
But then people know this guy as a funny guy.
Yeah.
So I sat down, called my management team. I said, look, things are going well. Yeah, that's beautiful, but I'm having problems somewhere. These guys know me, but they think of me as a comedian. However, my music is my P. So what are we going to do? And then from then onwards, it became very intentional.
Yeah.
Everything comedic I was doing was always linked back to the music. Because I'm not going to take this back from you because it's not what I want you to know. I see it's beautiful. I see it's getting me a certain level of following. I'm just going to find a way to merge. They're both arts that go very beautifully well together. So why not?
And that intersection is so beautiful because you have people's emotion connected via laughter and then you're giving them more with music. It just flows.
And the music had always been there. The music had always been good. I just needed that opening.
Yeah.
And my opening was humor. That was the way for me to find out that was my opening. Everyone always needs an opening. It's very difficult to get in. You might have exceptional talent, but you need an opening.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get that opening, nobody will hear your talent. So I got that opening with humor, and from then onwards, I just linked everything together, married the two with everything, with the challenges, bro. Before everybody started doing challenge. The challenge since when Instagram be 15 seconds, my brother, LOB.
Yeah, the LOB challenge was mad.
It's not even marry me challenge, then LOB challenge, then celebrity girlfriend, Karishika, Wait on Sa. There were so many. It was like back to back to back, and everyone was huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So I'm grateful for the way that everything played out. It helped me to shape culture. It helped me to set a precedent. And if there's anything I've always wanted to be is be unorthodox.
Sure. And in this format that you've used, it's become a well trodden format because we've seen Tenny also had that opening from comedy. Black Bones has recently 2022 has its opening also from comedy, from throwing comedy and with the music. Do you feel proud?
No, it's beautiful to see, man. Like I said, there's always gonna be exceptional talent. We're blessed in this country, bro. In this continent, we're over blessed. So that exceptional talent exists. However, you need that opening. If you can find your opening with comedy, if you can find your opening in any other way, just make sure that you take advantage. Grab it with both hands. It's beautiful to see, man.
So by the time you got to this project, Stories That Touch, in 2015, you had already become a star. You've become Falz. Everyone finally have known you. But I believe Stories That Touch was where you did your magic to finally seal this. For everyone to say, this person kills it here. This person also kills it here. For me, the content of so I'm looking at it now, I'm looking at Karashika, I'm looking at Soft Work, and I say, you mixed a lot of humor in these records. How did you find the right balance to maintain, artistic brilliance in music while also giving people that comedy? Was it hard to find that spot?
My brother, you just try your best, like at the time for me, of course I made a conscious effort to do that.
Yeah.
But you never know that you're doing it perfectly well until you see how it's being received. But I just, definitely made a conscious effort to find the right balance between this and that. And like you said, I had already reached a certain level of acclaim by the time I dropped this project.
Yeah.
But this was that project. Like, okay, when I don't give me chance, I'll be, you are in trouble.
So on this project, most especially, I'm very interested in a record like Soldier. Soldier was so big, and it was not the standard record. It was just pure storytelling. So a record like Soldier became so big across generations. Every demographic could connect. How did you come up with this?
So I met Simi around that time.
Okay.
And I initially heard Simi around that time, and I was blown away.
Okay.
And I remember it was Jam Question I heard.
Yeah.
And probably one of the first few times this kind of thing happened to me as well. As soon as I heard the song, I wrote a verse.
Jam Question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wrote the verse. Like, I didn't even tell the artist I was writing. I just wrote the verse. And I reached out to her and I just sent it to her. And she was like, what are you crazy? And we made the remix where I actually had a verse on the record. And then we shot a video and all that stuff. And us spending more time, doing more music. And she had literally done just the first part of the song, Soldier.
Yeah.
She had recorded it roughly somewhere before. She played for me. And I paused in my tracks and I said, do you know what we have here? I feel like at the time, even she didn't really realize what it was yet.
That's what happens when you create too much. There's always something.
Hey. I was like, yeah, this is what we're going to do with this record. It's going to be a discussion. You are, there's this man that is aggressively trying to move to you, but you're not having it. And that's why you're saying, Soldier, go, Soldier, come. Soldier, do waiting you want. Just do, I know do, no be this kind I want. And I'm going to completely embody that militant, aggressive approach that a lot of men actually have, and they think it's cool.
Yeah.
But on this song, we're basically making a mockery of that. It's like, it's sarcastic, but it's vivid. So that was the kind of literature that we did on that record.
It was beautiful, man. It worked so much.
Appreciate.
Was it surprising for you people, for her? Because you saw it.
Yeah, I knew this was a beautiful, beautiful record. Yeah, I think it still became surprising, to be honest, because like you said, it's not the normal kind of jam.
It isn't.
It's not the normal kind of jam. It's not the normal tumba. It's premium music, and I feel like any song can be a hit as long as it's beautiful.
I share the same sentiment. I share the same view, rather. And you guys, that partnership, you guys moved it into a project, Chemistry. Beautiful project.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've seen a collaboration project that could properly embody the best of two people as much from this part as much as that project carried. It carried you both side by side, such a balance. And for that lead single, Chemistry, also still one of my favorite to date.
Thank you. Yeah. We discovered something, from Jam Question into Soldier. Discovered that there was a meeting point
Yeah.
with both artists, and that meeting point was in storytelling. As much as we both had our different flavors, we met at a point where we were both storytellers and both vivid with it, and we had to create something together. Chemistry, classic, one of the most profound collaborative projects to date.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I'm super excited I did it.
But that season, that time when you were recording these projects with Simi, and you guys were linked not just as artists, but publicly linked as lovers or something. How was that dynamic between you guys then?
I mean, it was funny. It was funny because she has always been with Adekunle.
Yeah, I know.
And even at the time, I didn't know him as well yet at the time, but I knew that, of course, she had a boyfriend. His name is Adekunle Go, and all through that time, we knew what was popping, but we also knew what people thought was popping.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to.
You guys leaned into
enjoy it. It's important. So we enjoyed it, and the music also encouraged it. Making a song called Chemistry, for example, is it's like making doing the album art that we did.
Yeah.
Where there's this level of intimacy. It's like,
Sure.
whoa, what's going on here? These guys are up to something. And people live for that shit.
Yes, they do.
Anything love story, anything love affair, one love it back.
Yes. Yes, they do.
So that was pretty much what it was.
And then you moved to 27. And with 27, I think one of the ways you announced 27 was via the statement song Bahddest. I think it's one of the most genius moves that have ever been pulled. You're bad, Bado, Davido Bado, and Olamide Bahddest. Nobody saw it.
Yeah.
And to bring everybody together on a song and to make a song of that magnitude was brilliant.
Big shout out to Cess, the Problem Kid, a producer that I've worked with countless times. And at the time, we were making a lot of music together, and we must have been just vibing in the studio, and just, I don't know, sometimes we just say all these crazy terms and they just become something. It's wild. It's almost like magic, but it always happens with us. Myself, Cess, and a couple of all other guys on the team. So at the time, I think we just somehow arrived on that phrase, Bahddest. And the guy was like, yo, do you know what will be mad? Do you know what will be mad? I said, what will be mad? So if you do a jam, you, Olamide, and Davido, Bahddest. I see, I say no more, bro. So it's one of those light bulb moments.
Yeah.
When I was like, yo, shit, yeah. Crazy. I reached out to them, and instantly they saw it. And
How did you now choose the direction to move everyone to?
You see, at that time we were just making music. I mean, I still do that as much as possible till date. Just make music based on how you're feeling. And when we thought of the idea, what came to mind was something with a stupendous bounce, something that is just so hype and high energy, and something, of course, that would be a middle ground for all three. And that's why we went in trap way. And the kind of energy that we injected into that record, bro, till date, has not been replicated on any other record. Every time I perform that song, it's like the crowd is possessed.
Yes, it is.
It's unbelievable, bro.
It's the perfect Nigerian trap song.
It's Nah, man, the energy in that record, definitely one of my favorite songs to perform.
And with a project like 27, I think 27 contained some of your, even before moral instruction made its way to us. 27 was, I think, was a primer for moral instruction.
Yeah,
It contained a lot of the message, but it also gave us, it also gave us a lot to dance to,
yeah,
to party with.
yeah. 27 was a mix of emotions. It was a bittersweet kind of project. It was me feeling like I was hitting a milestone.
Yeah.
And
Are you 27 then?
I was turning 27 on the 27th of October 2017.
Yeah.
I was like, this 27 is coming up a lot this year, man.
Yeah.
And then, I just thought, why not name the album 27? Because it's like, that is the point where you are in your life right now and your career, and that's how you're feeling. And yeah, so, like I said, it was a mix of a couple different emotions, a lot of feel-good stuff, but still a lot of conscious stuff.
And it was also on 27 that I first attended your Falz live. And what I saw there, I think that your first ever, was it your first or first edition?
Falz experience, Abi?
Yes.
Yeah, 2017.
So 2017 was the first edition now, because I knew you built a lot of the set around 27. And I was like, yo, you started on time. You didn't just make it a concert. It felt like we were all a part of the production. I want to know about Falz live.
The Falz experience has always been...
The Falz experience, sorry.
Yeah, Falz experience.
I keep mentioning live because of your recent show.
The Falz experience is always going to be that kind of show, The idea, as we conceptualized it from the very beginning, was, if I'm going to have my own concert where I headline and, I make it a recurring thing, I don't want to just come and do normal show. I've never been a normal artist.
Sure. You've never done.
It's never been me. I'm not normal. So if I'm doing this, I have to put a different twist to it.
Yeah.
And that was what we ended up coming up with. It's almost like a mix between concert, theater,
yeah,
comedy. It's a blend of all. It's like you're at a Broadway show.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a fucking theater, bro. It's wild.
Yes.
But at the same time, you're still in a concert. So it's everything together. The 2 editions that we've done so far, we've kept it going. Like you said, we always start on time, and we always emphasize and let you know we are not going to start late. Come early. And beautiful things are served in small doses.
Yeah.
It's early, we start on time. We make sure the show has ended by midnight and everybody can go to the after party.
Yes. Yeah. And you did that so well, because in that show, it's like you found a way to not just incorporate people, but actually when you work, you don't just incorporate people into your thing. You make them be themselves, but still within that environment that you've created for everybody to thrive. So shout out to you on that.
Thank you, bro.
And it also brings me into moral instruction and this part of your career, your activism. Moral instruction, yes, the project has so much for us and everything. It's one of the best projects, conscious projects that has been ever released. Well, for you, I know you've also spoken about like you cannot divest yourself of the environment that you're in, that you created. But why do you have to do it? People have said it's your family because of the father you have. But why do you have to do it for you?
Compassion. Compassion. I look around me, I observe, I see what's going on. I'm displeased, I'm dissatisfied. I'm not comfortable existing in this sort of space. Also feeling a sense of loss of identity.
But you are comfortable and insulated.
I'm comfortable and there's AC in my house.
Yeah.
But the bulk of us are the exact opposite of that, bro. The majority of us.
Yeah.
We're the country with the highest population of poor people in the world, bro. In the world.
Sure.
In the world. India has like maybe 4 times our population. like total population.
Yeah.
But we still have more poor people than India. Now try and imagine that, bro. Just try and imagine what that is like. Existing here, I'm thinking, oh me, I'm good though. There's AC in my house. Am I really good? Because what then am I living for?
Yeah.
What is if my own brothers, my own sisters existing in the same environment aren't even well off, then what's the point? I have to constantly speak about these. I can't not speak about these things. And when I say loss of identity, I also feel like it's a bigger problem because as Africans,
Yeah.
as Black people as a whole, we are lost. We are lost. And this, what I'm saying right now is the actual root of the problem. Even I'm just figuring it out. All the complaints, all the consciousness has just been motivated by compassion and just needing to not be existing in this manner. But now I'm even realizing the problem is a lot deeper. We've completely lost touch of who the hell we are. And that's why things continue getting worse. As Africans, we don't know that the only true way to move forward is by subscribing to the ideology that is Pan-Africanism. Now, a lot of the greats, Fela Kuti, Nelson Mandela, Thomas Sankara, a lot of these great heroes, great African leaders stood for this and preached this majority of their lives and their career. Pan-Africanism, looking inward, how to be the best version of ourselves, how to be industrious in our own way without assistance of any external people or races.
How to be truly independent.
Truly independent.
And self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient. Produce everything that you need to consume. If I'm speaking to you now as a Black man, I ask you, bro, I like this shirt really well. Where you get that from?
China.
You tell me, no, you say it's imported. It's imported. That's the expression. To you, that's a flex. But are you mad? What do you mean it's imported? Where is the one that you are making in your country then? So what are you? Oh, I'm a Nigerian Christian. Okay, you are. Why are you Christian?
Yeah.
Is this just because this is the religion that the European man brought and gave to you? That's why you still are up until today?
Or you did the work to go find out what you truly believe in.
What did your forefathers believe in? What did your forefathers believe in before the European man arrived and imposed these
on you?
What do you know about your history? A lot of people don't bother taking a back step to think. We have just completely lost touch of who we are. So we're just trying to be a version that they've told us we are. Not really the best versions of ourselves. These religions that I speak of, that used to be our own indigenous religions. Now, when we look at them, we say, jazz, you are worshiping idol. That's what people will say to you. Or if they worship Ifa, Shango, our own gods, Ogun, our own gods, our own local tradition, they will say you are worshiping idol. What do you mean by idol?
Someone told you it was an idol.
Say, whether it's Jesus Christ or whether it's Islam, or both religions were brought to us by Europeans
and the Middle Easterns.
Yeah.
For Islam, the Arabs.
Yeah. I mean, the origin of Islam is even a bit more complicated. But at least we shall know that none of the religions
originated
is originally us. Everything that is originally us, we've continued to run away from because we've been told that everything that is black is low. Everything that is black is bad, and we have believed it for so long. So deeply traumatized we are as a people.
And you think that spills into how we conduct ourselves?
Of course now, because if you don't believe in yourself, how can you love yourself? So because you don't love yourself, that's why you would treat another man like dirt. That's why the stupid bastard man that is in power is only concerned about enriching his own pocket, not caring about the multitude of people that is impoverishing with the acts that he's doing. He doesn't give a damn now because there's no sense of us. There's no feeling of the communal. There's talk less of patriotism. Kilunjebe. Nobody thinks of that. Even when you think of surviving here, what you think of is jackpot.
Yeah.
Escape. Escape to where, bro? Wherever you're running to, you're never ever going to be recognized as one of them. It's not possible. Look at black people all over the world. Black people in the United States are some of the most traumatized among us.
Yeah.
They're constantly begging to just be allowed to coexist. Please don't shoot me. Please give me equal rights. Look at what happened in Ukraine with the war. Africans were being treated like shit. I just heard news again like 2 days ago. Like 2 days ago. Some Africans, I think, on the border of Morocco trying to get into Spain.
Spain, yes, they were brutal.
Killed.
Yeah.
She treated like shit. Bro.
Breaks your heart.
Nobody cares about black people because black people don't care about themselves. How can an animal be in power? And everything like this I'm talking about like this is happening, no. But all you are still focused on is make I just chop this money, keep for my family, Look at what is happening to us. We're losing our essence completely. Are you telling me these guys they've not opened their eyes to see that?
Yeah.
They still don't care. What kind of life are you living?
And so in these spaces, it's important that there are people who remind us of who we are, of who we ought to be, how we ought to be.
Yeah.
And the things that we constantly lose on the daily.
Yeah. If I'm working on when I'm working on my next conscious project, I think this is gonna primarily be the theme. Just the need to realize what it really means to be African. What the true meaning of being African is, and being the best version of that. I believe that is my true purpose in this life.
That's cool. So every time I've ever studied Africa and gone down to like the past and understanding who we are, one school of thought, it's even become a philosophy, some Africanism that is very central to how we've moved is Ubuntu, the concept of Ubuntu. I am because you are. We're all a community and we're all interconnected. That's what it is. Today, you can't ask the kid on the road what does it mean to be in a community? Nah.
You don't know the meaning, no. It's everybody for himself. Everybody for himself because no one is thinking about the community. No one is thinking about everyone together. No one's thinking about what our identity is collectively. So much division, so much hatred, even within us.
And also, there's no particular country where black people have it good, whether home or abroad.
Bro, look at the way the world is now. What is the biggest congregation of black people in the world?
Nigeria.
It's Nigeria now.
And look at the Nigeria.
Look at the Nigeria. Look at the where did all black people in the world, where did they come from? They came from Africa.
Yes.
They were taken as slaves.
Yeah.
Well, their forefathers were taken as slaves. That's whether you're in America or whether you're in the Caribbean or black people anywhere, your origin is here.
Yeah.
And here, what do we have to write home about? We are lost here. We are about, we look at the people that are contesting for. Look at the people that are contesting to be our presidents.
It doesn't inspire. It doesn't give us a lot of inspiration.
2022, bro. 2022, there's no yet 24 hours electricity. People are going to space. They're making technological advancements.
We will still want to eat.
You know that in the near future now, let's say Earth gets is no more habitable.
Yeah.
People, the other people that have started making all these technological advancements, they've started acquiring
to export
property
life.
in other planets. Let's say we cannot exist here again and everybody has gone. They will leave us here now. We are the one that will be remaining here.
I will hold on to the rocket. Hold on to the rocket.
And that is the black person story.
Yes.
To be the scraps, to be holding on to the foot of the plane.
Never at the center of it all.
What
Never,
is this,
never.
man? This can never be what we are destined to be. It's not possible. It can't be. Because if you look at the black man in every sphere of life, he is so gifted. We're so intelligent. We're so physically powerful. We're so talented. Look at athletes. Look at artists. Look at in every sphere of life. We're so gifted. But just get your shit together.
So you think it all starts with an awakening to who we are?
We need to know who we are, appreciate who we are, love who we are, and now start to figure out the communal. What we said earlier on. I am because you are. We are together. It is us. It is us, because those people out there, they're not going to recognize you because they will say you are not part of us. They have their own sense of us.
So we have a general election coming. Would you be partisan?
Partisan? No. I've never been partisan. I've always tried to keep it that way. But to be honest with you, mostly because there really hasn't been any candidates that I've seen that has been so convincing to me that I want to beat my chest and say this is the guy.
Okay, it's hard for you to.
It just hasn't been that.
Vouch for someone.
Yeah, and for me to vouch for someone, I have to have really seen that. More. And in this place that we exist in, with all the crop of politicians that we've had, have you even seen anyone like that?
Not totally. Not totally. Instead we don't clamor for good anymore. We're clamoring for lesser evil.
No. Right now, people are looking for manageable.
Yes.
Just give me something that's manageable.
Just move us back to zero at least.
What kind of life is this, bro?
Sucks.
The earlier people realize that the mechanism that we've adopted with dealing with this is not sustainable, the better for them. Because the mechanism for dealing with this kind of thing is, things rough, but no problem. God go help us. Face on to the next one. Look to entertainment.
Yeah.
Look to humor. Something to distract you. You're still going to come back to your problem.
Just want to cope and escape.
You can't just cope and escape. Where are you escaping to? You're going to keep on running. We just said it now. Where is he, Yankee? They will keep killing you. Where is he, Europe? Look at what happened in Ukraine. Look at what happened on the Moroccan border.
The black person isn't safe.
Nobody, they look at you as scraps in this world. You can't let that persist.
That's why, and that's why it's important that people like you stand in line. People like you continue to move us forward, and hold the mirror to us more than anything.
Everybody has to, though.
Yeah,
everybody has to. People should not look at activism like, there's some people that they are just activists. Everybody ought to be an activist in their own way.
Activism is a group effort.
At the end of the day, it is. So it just look like just the airports. No, make we all, because the only thing greater than the people in power is the power of the people.
Then for this, especially with the elections coming, there's also this. It's also I think we're, as collectively as young people also, I think we're also haunted by what happened during NSAS. I think it plays, a lot of us might not talk about it directly, but it plays a role in influencing our behavior and our attitude towards our country and this election. Does it influence how you consider this election? Does it flavor it in any way for you?
It makes me even more angry. Makes me even more angry to the point that I am participating by all means, and I'm making sure that I vote and that my vote stays protected. Do you get what I'm saying? That's how it feeds into me. I understand that A lot of people might have felt hard hit.
Yeah.
You know, it was a rough time. If there's anyone that felt hard hit, trust me, I did. You know, feeling a huge mix of weird emotions.
Yeah.
You know, some of utmost sadness.
Yeah.
You know, a certain level of guilt, if you like. You know, this all this stuff happened around my birthday as well.
Yeah.
You know, not really being able to fully escape that trauma. You
Yeah.
know, for a very long time, it would still be like that. So trust me, talking about hard hit, I felt it. However, when you're fighting some certain battles, you know that initial explosion, yeah, it will shake you, but you have to get up and go again and again and again, because we're really far gone. It's not going to be bins, and there's going to be unfortunate incidents like that, but we have to keep it going. And yeah, of course, everyone, it's easier to say because a lot of people will be afraid. You know, a lot of people might even feel so discouraged and all that stuff, but we can't afford to let all that get to us.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for doing this, to be honest, because I know a lot of people who would rather put their head in the sand, but you run towards the danger, and I'm grateful for that, because you represent what we all ought to be. And thank you for that. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
2022, you're out with another project. Bad. Beautiful project. I've been listening to it. I think my best song here is Gentleman.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm an old soul, so woman appeals to me because I'm an old soul.
Okay.
But Gentleman, it just speaks to me. With this one, I was also at your listening for this, and a lot of your comments regarding this project spoke about advancement, about experimentation, about the incorporation of new elements into your work. Why is this experimentation important to you? Why is it such a cardinal point for you to move towards?
For me, it's an important thing in artistry.
Okay.
Evolution. You have to constantly evolve, you know, with times, with, you know, sounds, constantly evolve. And it's almost like giving yourself a new face.
Yeah.
You know, this is this guy, but okay, this guy has turned it around and this is now him. It's still him, but with a new face. It's like, you know, those things keep it fresh, keep it interesting, keep it exciting. And, you know, that's what I try to do here.
What did it take out of you? Did you have to go through learning? What did it take out of you?
Pushed me a lot, especially vocally.
Yeah.
Pushed me. It just made me have to be open to trying certain sounds that, you know, I'm not used to trying.
Yeah.
But to be honest, that has always been me. I've always been ready to experiment. So it wasn't too demanding.
And you were your most emotional here.
Yeah.
Yes, you're like, there's a lot of not just your sincerity shines through on all your projects, but there's a lot of vulnerability and surrender here.
Yeah. Vulnerability, and I figured it's an emotion that we need to embrace more generally as people. Even me myself personally, you know, that's an emotion that we need to embrace a lot more, and I decided to project that with the music. Yeah.
And even talking about experimentation, so there's this stuff that's been going on. One of the conversations about like hip hop and rap and Afro beats and how everything blends together. I always get into problems when I talk about how the rap we got from the US, when it came down here and we adopted and adapted it, it became Afro beats. Like, look at our aesthetics. It's hip hop. Today, we can be the biggest singers who might be playing our high life, but with our gold chains and our attitude and our swag, even while playing the high life and singing. Think about it like that. You can stand when you buff up on a normal video shoot. When you buff up, you can stand beside any other American hip hop star that's pulled from his video shoots. You guys can literally exchange in terms of aesthetics. Have you ever seen it like that?
Yeah, of course, because there's a huge influence
Yeah.
of the hip hop culture from the United States, especially. There's a
Yeah.
huge influence. Nobody can doubt that. The hip hop culture in the United States kind of diffused itself through the world, the
Yeah.
entire world,
True.
and everyone sort of adapted and infused it into their own music culture. So I think that's why.
So when people say things like, when I talk about rap and I say, yes, people generally believe hip hop is dying, but I don't believe hip hop is dying.
Hip hop can never ever die.
Especially in this market, what I do believe is what we consider hip hop and what we consume as hip hop has constantly shifted and constantly changes. So an artist like you now, you are not giving us one are gonna you're not giving us that. Instead, you're telling us, you're speaking to us in our voice. You're speaking to us, giving us our stories, but you're still rapping to us.
Yeah.
And even the sound, it's still hip hop.
Even on every level, bro. Even
Yeah.
on every level. Even in that America, in that United States, where hip hop originated from. If you think about Tupac and Biggie, that's an era.
Yes.
That's hip hop.
Yeah.
If you think about Outkast,
Yes.
that's an era. That's hip hop. If you think about Jay-Z, that's an era. That's hip hop. If you think about Kanye West, that's an era. That's hip hop. If you think about Lil Wayne,
Yes.
that's an era. That's hip hop.
Think about Drake.
Think about Drake. That's an entirely different era. That's hip hop. If you think about Migos,
Yes.
so
Think about Baby. Think about
Lil Baby,
Lil
Da
Durk.
Baby,
Da
Lil
Baby.
Durk. So there's been different versions of hip hop, all still hip hop. There's no strict way to doing this thing. What I think what just is the constant thing is that rap music is what is still, you're still rapping essentially, but doing it in different ways, and there's no rigidity to hip hop. That's what makes it so beautiful. There's no rigidity to it. However it enters, make it the enter, they go.
True.
Whatever bounce is making everybody move now, let that be the bounce. And there've been so many different variations. There's trap, there's drill. There's so many different variations of hip hop.
Do you think have you ever felt like disrespected when these conversations come up? Because I know people that would say Falz does not do like a certain type of hip hop. Has that in any way influenced how you've moved?
Yeah, from day one, I've never sent all these things now. It consign me. If you like, make all those all these top 10 rappers or top these. If you like, put me. If you like, don't put me. If you like, consider me a rapper. If you like, don't consider me a rapper. Like I said, my artistry is way beyond all these things. I do not even want to be boxed. So if you can't, or if you think that because I'm not doing surgery, then okay, I'm not a rapper. Okay, no problem. Then I'm not a rapper. As long as you consider me an artist and I'm making music that is popping, that is sufficient for me. I don't need groupings. Human being has this tendency, this innate tendency to want to group things, label things.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what this is called.
Because it creates order for people. It
helps them to create order, I guess. Yeah. But with art, there has to be a certain level of chaos.
Yeah.
For more beauty to arise.
Because art is disruption.
It disrupts the status quo. You have to because if you're just following the status quo, then how are we going to stop in our tracks and be like, who is that?
Yeah, true. How do we move it forward?
Yeah, how do we move it forward? How do we put another spin on it? If people wanted to follow the status quo, they wouldn't have been trap. There wouldn't have been drill. There wouldn't have been all these new subgenres.
All this emo and all the.
When I heard, first time I heard, one of my biggest influences to date, and I will always say, a group called the Tribesmen. First time I heard the Tribesmen, my head busted dead. I said, what is this?
LD and his gang.
Now rap be this so, but they tell story and it's funny die.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I was like, yo, I want to do this kind of shit. And at the time, it was also mixed with influences from outside as well. I think that was when Kanye dropped College Dropout.
Yeah.
Those were still early days, at least my early days for, introduction into hip hop. So it was like, yo, this is a beautiful sort of art. So, but all I'm just trying to say is all that has evolved.
Yeah.
Look at my art versus those kind of songs versus the ones that even came before that. There's always going to be evolution, and that's what music is about.
And with Nollywood, what you've been able to do into Nollywood is, with Nollywood, you've been able to build not just a career, someone who's outside looking in. You are Nollywood. Like when they write the story of Nollywood, you are a part of it. You've starred in a number of movies. From 2015, your filmography from 2015 up until 2021. Up in 2021, you have credits.
Yeah,
in the biggest movies,
big movies as well. Yeah.
What does your participation in Nollywood? What does it add to your life? What does it add to your existence? What does it give you?
Fulfillment as an artist.
Okay.
Fulfillment as an artist. I've always been a huge lover of film. I've always wanted to create.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be a part of the creation of film. So now being involved, it's fulfillment. It's like, okay, like I said earlier on, as an artist, I'm very first a consumer.
Yeah.
So this is an art form that I just love. I just love it, whether it's consuming it or whatever it is. I just love it. Now I want to create. So that's why I would always be in film from now till whenever, because it's enjoyable for me.
It comes to you, but did you have practice?
No, not really. At least the way I got into it, no. Now that I'm in it, of course, I find ways to continue to hone and nurture my talent, of course. But getting into it.
Yeah. How did you get into it? Was it an offshoot of your comedy?
Yeah. So from those crazy videos I used to do, those funny videos, those skits at the very beginning, I think the first call I got was from, I think it was Jennifer's Diary. Big shout out to Funke Akindele.
It's 2015.
So 2015 was
after What's Up, Guy?
No, I'm trying to figure out which project was.
It's
Jennifer's Diary. Okay.
Couple of days.
Okay, couple of days. Couple of days is what I was trying to remember. Jennifer's Diary was the first call I got officially that, there's something, there's a series I'm working on. I have a character I want you to play. I was like, yo, I'm down. Let's do this. Obviously, it's the great Funke Akindele as well. So at the time, it's a no-brainer. I want to do that. But coincidentally, before I ended up filming that, another guy had reached out to me for this movie called Couple of Days.
Yeah.
So I ended up filming that one first. That one was it was like a supporting role.
Yeah, you were a Gates man there.
I was a Gates man. That is hilarious. That's actually the first role I ever played. He's Gates man. So funny. I was a Gates man. Yeah. And of course, Jennifer's Diary, what turned out to be a huge role, award-winning role as well.
Yeah.
That was the second thing I did. Yeah.
And moving through all these productions, for you, first, Nollywood, how do they treat you? Do they treat you like one of their own? Or
Yes.
or as someone was visiting. You know how it feels when you're not fully embraced by a community because people feel you're parachuting.
I think I would say I'm being treated like a part of the community. I've been in enough to be regarded as a part of the community. And it also depends on the kind of energy that you bring.
Okay.
If you bring that kind of energy like, oh, I'm just passing by, then I guess you'd be treated in that manner. But I guess on productions, I've been quite a trooper.
And you've also been winning. You also have. I'm looking at it.
Yes, sir.
Right there. You have your your
AMVCA.
AMVCA.
Two by them for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
two. Best actor in a comedy series.
Yeah.
And the second one was
2018. Best supporting actor.
actor.
Yeah, best supporting actor in the movie. That was for New Money.
New Money. Yeah,
First one was for Jennifer's Diary.
you should feel accomplished.
I do to a certain extent. I feel fulfilled.
Yeah,
Fulfilled. Maybe not 100% accomplished because I'm still on the journey.
Yeah.
But I feel fulfilled to a large extent.
yeah, and with something like comedy, comedy. I get the feeling that you collapsed your comedy into Nollywood. I get that feeling. It feels like Nollywood was a good vehicle to properly make your comedy, to properly scale your comedy.
Yeah. It's more arranged.
Yeah.
It's also more serious
Yeah.
when it's in something of more tangible form.
Yeah.
Other than just, something, skits that aren't maybe monetized or whatever. When it's in a proper form, like in a film or like a TV show, and it just feels more like, okay, it's more of an asset. It's more of so that was why I sort of leaned more into that. And it also felt like a natural growth
path, progression.
Yeah, a natural progression for me as well. Yeah.
But did you ever have dreams of having a stand-up or something?
No, I feel like stand-up is a completely different art. I feel like stand-up is a completely different art, and stand-up is probably one of the most difficult things to do in this life.
We don't have a lot of stand-ups here.
Yeah, we don't have that many stand-up comedians like that now. I mean, they're comedians, but people that really do stand-up.
I mean, that's takes a lot.
It's not easy.
Well, thank you so much. But before we end this, because we've done a lot of this, thank you so much, and thank you for doing this. This is the second time we are recording this. The first time we scheduled this, I got into a lot of biggie. Long story, right? I couldn't.
Nigeria happened to you.
Yeah, Nigeria happened to me, so I missed it. And thank you for having to reschedule again. I appreciate.
No problems.
With all of this happening for you, you've done a lot. A lot has happened, and there's still a lot of plans. Like we just spoke about your new plans. There's a spin-off for the therapy happening. There's also another project coming out.
Yeah, there's a movie. I literally just put out a post out today. So there's a movie that I'm in. It's a Jade Shibere production.
Nice.
Just in case you didn't know, Jade did Sugar Rush.
Yeah, she's amazing. Jade is amazing. She's one of our
super work.
She's one of our Nollywood royalty.
Her work is super. It's called Brotherhood.
Oh, nice.
It's an action film.
Oh,
an action film. Very gang.
It's the one that has. Is it the one that has MC Macaroni and
Macaroni is in it as well. Basket Mouth is in it.
Oh,
It's I literally play lead, myself and Toby Bakri.
For real?
We are twin brothers.
Okay.
We're twin brothers in the story, and it's like
when is it out?
September.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Out in cinemas in September.
I can't wait. So with all of this happening, like, what's in it for? When it all boils down, what are you trying to extract from all of this life that you've built and you're living and you've led? What would make it all come together for you?
Being able to affect lives positively, just having a great legacy. Legacy is important to me.
Well, you come from legacy.
Yeah, legacy is important to me. Just being able to, after all said and done, after we are long gone, whether we have grown old or we have retired or whatever it is, just being able to be a figure that positively affected lives and, the situation around him. Yeah, that would make everything come together for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.